Wanted to do a quick video about this topic, my favorite topic of all time in recent days, AI. And the other day I saw kind of a news article about how some music artist pretty much got like a million plus dollar deal to provide music. I don't know the details of it. I don't know how legitimate it is, but assuming it is true, it is fascinating. And the reason why it's fascinating is because this particular music artist is not really a musician, from what I understand. She just used AI. I think she even said in like an interview, she used an app called like Suno, something like that, to generate music. And she created her own album and I guess got a record deal or got some kind of like brand deal out of it. Again, I don't know the details and it's not really important, but I saw a lot of hate, a lot of frustration, and a lot of anger from a lot of people. Pretty much saying that what she's doing is creating AI slop, saying how she's not a real musician, therefore she shouldn't get a contract deal. And I'll be honest, some of you, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you probably know my stance on AI. I'm not against AI at all. I think in some ways AI can be misused. I think in many ways it can be overused, but conceptually, AI as a tool that helps you do something faster or more efficiently, I think is perfectly fine. And I think even for the sake of art, I think it's a perfectly fine tool. Many artists will disagree. I think they're all wrong. I think they just don't like the idea of some tool doing something better than them. I think they also misunderstand AI. I think they're misusing it, but I don't hate AI. And I think what she did is not surprising. And I think it was a natural step. Now, if you're watching this, you're probably thinking to yourself, why aren't you against AI musicians? Why aren't you against her getting this $1 million plus brand deal or record deal for essentially just typing in prompts? I'm going to say this, a few things. One, whenever I hear people say that AI is just typing in prompts, it quickly becomes clear to me that these people have not really used AI. And I know people probably use it in a very general sense where they type something in and they get a product. But I think what's a good word for this? I think the idea that you can just type in something and get a good product out of it, I think is a bit reductionist. I'll put it that way. I've seen some pieces of art, for example, that uses AI and clearly uses AI, and it is quite good. It's better than I think most people can create without AI at probably a fraction of the cost, or at least a fraction of the manpower. And it's probably super scalable. When it comes to music, people might say, well, she's not really a musician. She's not creating music. Therefore, why are we, promoting this AI usage? And when it comes to that, and again, I'm not like, I've played musical instruments. I'm not a musician. But my thoughts on this are the music industry for the past decade plus has already been full of slop, if we're being completely honest. When you think about a lot of rappers, when you think about a lot of singers, when you think about a lot of the modern day pop music, do all of the people who sing in these albums, are they all amazing singers, or do they all have like tools that allow their pitch to be perfect? Do they allow themselves to be adjusted a certain way? And I'm not saying that there are no talented people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But the point that I'm trying to get across is that a lot of the most famous or most popular musicians, music artists, whatever you want to call them, aren't necessarily the best musicians. They might not be musically inclined at all, or maybe hardly. And even if they are, when it comes down to it, do they write their own lyrics? Do they write their own songs? A lot of them do not do that. Like, even if an artist has talent, they might not be the ones writing their most popular songs. For example, I think there's a lot of songs actually by Justin Bieber that Ed Sheeran wrote. Now, I know some people might make the argument, well, Ed Sheeran's a talented musician, and he's a talented musician. But the point that I want to make is that just because you hear a musician singing a song or performing a song doesn't mean that they wrote the song. There's tons of songs out there from different groups like One Direction, Britney Spears, Bruno, whoever, where they're performing the song and they're the face of the song, but they're not the ones that created the song. I think even like I saw recently Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus, super popular song, probably one of her most popular songs of all time, was not written by her, to my knowledge. It was pitched to a few different people and she picked it up and she said she would sing it. So the point that I'm making is that you don't need to be, what's a good way to put it? As a famous, I guess, icon in the music industry, you don't necessarily need to be musically inclined. You're not the ones always writing the music. Do you think all these rappers write their own music? Do you think they don't ever hire ghostwriters to write their own music? Second thing, a lot of music nowadays is super formulaic anyway. A lot of music, you have to understand, a lot of the music is designed to sell. It's not necessarily designed when it's mainstream to be the product of the musician's heart and soul going into it. It's not designed to, be their story or their message shared with their audience. Sometimes it can be, but a lot of times it's not. A lot of times it's just designed to sell. So the idea of someone creating an AI song that sounds like all the other generic garbage out there, maybe even a little bit better than the generic garbage out there, that she can make in like a day, less than that, that sells, that resonates with whoever her intended audience is, because it's generic enough where a lot of people, a lot of like a broad audience can, I guess, tap into the lyrics and tap into the overall message of that song, if they even listen to the lyrics, or just tap into that beat, that same generic beat that most songs have nowadays. The idea that she's creating something like that is not super stunning to me. That's what all musicians or music artists do nowadays, if we're being completely honest with ourselves. The reason why, I was gonna make this video a long time ago, and the reason why I wanted to revisit it and actually put in my 2 cents about this idea is because I was listening to a bunch of like rock songs yesterday. For anyone that doesn't know, I'm a huge fan of rock. I love like grunge rock. I love like that old classic rock. I like metal. I like all forms of music, but there's something about like rock from like the 90s, 80s, early 2000s even, like that alternative rock. There's something about it that just like resonates with me. And I think it's a combination of the lyrics, the person singing the song, and the story behind the song. Like I remember back when I was in college, I've told the story before, I used to work at a gas station, but one of the people, actually a few of the people that came to the gas station were musicians. One guy even owned like a guitar shop, like kind of off campus in Penn State. Super cool guy. They're all cool guys. And whenever they'd come in, because like at the gas station, we could choose the songs that were playing, they would hear a song and just start talking about it. And of course, since I'm the one picking the songs, because I was the one working, we'd have a whole conversation about the songs and like the background. Like I play Layla by Derek and the Dominoes or Eric Clapton, and we'd have a whole conversation about Layla, the background story, the little thing with George Harrison. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. It's a fascinating story. You'll hear stories talk about like, I think Randy Rhoads from like, I'm forgetting Ozzy Osbourne's old band, but he was, I think he was the guitarist for whatever band Ozzy Osbourne used to have before he kind of went solo. Hopefully you get the point that I'm making. We'd have whole conversations. And when you hear about these stories, and then you hear about the songs, and you hear about the lyrics, then you hear about the music videos, and you hear about what inspired these things, it felt like there was a lot of personal touch added to music back then. Like you see a song by Aerosmith, and he has his own daughter in it, and it feels personal. The lyrics felt personal. The video feels personal. Everything about the song feels personal. It feels like at least someone on the band, or at least multiple people on the band, contributed something to the song to make it special. But when you hear certain songs by Justin Bieber, and I'm not calling out Justin Bieber, he's actually quite talented. I'm not being mean or trying to say he's a bad musician. He's not. I'm just saying some of the songs are a bit generic by design. You hear songs by like Justin Bieber though, maybe some modern day Ed Sheeran, whatever. Some of you can pick whatever, even like Maroon 5. I used to love Maroon 5 back in the day, but around like the mid 2000s, their songs started to get more popular. And the more popular they got, the more generic their songs began to sound, which is when I stopped listening to them as much. But even then, there's a big difference between the songs that sound personal, like you hear songs like This Love by Maroon 5, or She Will Be Loved. I'm trying to think of another one. There's another one that was on my mind. Makes Me Wonder. The songs feel a bit personal. Then you hear some of the songs later on, and it feels like someone, like a producer or someone who knows how to market music or knows how to productize music, suggested this song be made, and the music artist is simply the face of that song. Does that make sense? Like, certain music artists will sell songs a certain way, so you make the song for this specific music artist and you have them perform it, and it'll profit. Like if you make a song for Justin Bieber, if you make a song and have Justin Bieber sing it, for example, you can probably guess that Justin Bieber's gonna make that song sell. Or if you make a very generic song and give it to Taylor Swift, that that song's gonna sell pretty well. Not necessarily because these people are super talented always, and not because the song is all that great or all that special, but because the person who's performing the song, or at least the face of the song, has such a big brand and such a big following and a massive amount of popularity that pushes the song and makes it more popular by extension. Now, again, I don't know the music industry that well, so I could be wrong. Perhaps that's not how things work. That's just my theory. But to tie it back around to the idea of AI seems like a natural next step. Why? Like, I've said this in previous videos when it comes to artists and my, I guess, criticism of artists. There's a difference between art and profit and profitable productization, we'll call it. If you're an artist and you're making art for the sake of just making art, that's fine. I think that's fantastic. I think that's ideal. But if you're an artist, at some point, if you're trying to profit from it, you have to understand that your art is meant to be consumed by people who are willing to buy, which means you have to appeal to what they want. And when you're appealing to a lot of people, because you probably want to make a lot of money, that hopefully would be the idea behind it, you need to make something generic, because something that's generic appeals to a broad audience. Again, no hate to like Taylor Swift, but this is why Taylor Swift, I think, does so well, because her songs are pretty generic. Her songs are all just about like heartbreak and love, which is a super generic concept. The lyrics aren't like all that special. Even Taylor Swift's not like that talented. I'm kind of like being mean about Taylor Swift, but you know, the point that I'm making is that if you're trying to make songs like that, they need to be super generic and super consumable by a broad audience. And I think with AI, the good thing with AI is that you could do that in mass. Like, you can make 50 songs with AI in like a week. I haven't tried this, but I'm assuming this is the case because I've seen people make songs with AI and they make them pretty fast. Whereas even if you can come up with 50 ideas as a human, even as a band, the idea of you playing 50 songs, making each song sound relatively good, like good enough to push to the masses, is pretty much impossible. With AI, it's not impossible. And I think because you can put out 50 songs, you can put out so many songs quickly, the odds of one of those songs or two of those songs or 10 of those songs being like bangers or being like pop hits, being good, it means something. It's profitable, it's monetizable. And so people are gonna look for that. Like, just be honest. Name a song from the past like 5 years that, I don't know, has really stuck with you a lot. Like, yesterday I was listening to like Toto and Derek and the Dominoes and Stone Temple Pilots. All of those songs sound so unique and sound so special. And of course I'm biased, but there's something about each of those songs that just stands out to the point where I think like 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, people will still listen to songs like from Toto, like Hold the Line by Toto. People will still listen to songs by Red Hot Chili Peppers. People will still listen to songs by the Beatles, by Michael Jackson, whatever. 50 years from now, people will still hear those classic songs and they'll still feel special to people in the future. But if I were to ask you to pop on like, I don't know, what's an artist that came out in like the mid-2000s? Like something by Nicki Minaj recently, it's not gonna have a lot of longevity. It's not gonna last long. Why is it not gonna last long? Because it's kind of generic. It's probably something that's sampled from an older song that did perform very well, that is iconic, with lyrics that are very generic, that don't really mean much. They're probably over-sexualized. That's probably what they use to sell it. It's not a special song. And so it doesn't last as long. And that's what AI is gonna do. It's gonna produce slop. It's gonna produce songs that aren't meant to last long. It's meant to make money today. And to be honest, I think that's fine. That's fine. The reason why it's fine is because that's what people want. Now, I don't make this video too long, but you're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, well, I don't want that. You probably do. Because people vote with their wallets, right? People vote with their, in this case, their ears. So if you're someone who consumes this type of content, if you're someone who engages with this type of content, you do want this type of content. Maybe not consciously, but you still want it. And because you subconsciously or unconsciously, whatever you want to call it, want it, it's going to keep being made because you're still going to keep interacting with it. You're still going to keep engaging with it. You're still going to keep giving your money to these things. And until that stops, it won't go away, right? So I don't know. When people get mad about the whole AI music thing, it's weird to me. It's a bit weird. I said this in another video about artists hating on AI. I think if you're someone who if you're someone who wants to make art for the sake of making art, then other people using AI should not bother you, right? Like, I'm making my own comic. I make it for the sake of creating a comic. Like, I want people to consume my story, enjoy my story, hopefully enjoy the art too. I'm still growing as an artist, but I want people to overall like the story. If someone else comes out and says, hey, I made a comic, but I used AI to produce it, I wouldn't care. Doesn't bother me, doesn't affect me, doesn't prevent people from looking at my type of comic. So what's the big issue? So when other people get mad and they're like, oh, well, this person's using AI to create art, it's offensive, it's not real art. It's like, why does it bother you? It shouldn't affect you. If you're making art for the sake of making art, keep making art. AI is not gonna stop you from doing that. If you're making art for profit, AI is still not your issue. You not understanding who your target market is, you not understanding that the product is what matters, the profit is what matters as well, not so much your love and care to your piece of art. That doesn't really matter. That's the big issue. It's like, and I said this in the past, it's kind of like when you see those, maybe I said this in like my other videos, if I did, I'll say it again. My wife and I, we were in DC, we went to like an art museum, and we saw like all this art, and a lot of it was just terrible, like garbage. And I know art's subjective, but when I say garbage, I mean, when I think about art, the easier it is to replicate, the worse off, I think, by a human. The easier it is for a human to replicate something, the less I'm willing to consider it good art. Like, if someone has like an easel and they throw paint at the easel and call it art, I wouldn't really consider it like good art, because anyone can throw paint at an easel. Like, a baby can do that. So it doesn't really make it good. It doesn't require any talent or any real skill. So I wouldn't call it art. Some people might say, well, AI does the exact same thing. I'm not really counting that, because AI replicates things. AI can replicate something very technically difficult for a human. That's why I'm saying human is the criteria. If a human can do it easily, I wouldn't consider it good art. Like a stick figure, I think most people wouldn't consider good art, because why? Most people can make stick figures pretty easily. Like, babies can do it, little kids can do it. But the Mona Lisa wouldn't be considered good art, I think, in general, because painting is difficult for even a good artist. Painting something that high quality, that looks that realistic, that's that big, like the other components that you start to put together that make up the Mona Lisa, all of those things combined are so difficult that you need to be an exceptionally talented artist to pull that off. And I think that's what makes the Mona Lisa a good painting. Now, obviously not everyone might like the Mona Lisa, that's not the point. But when it comes to just like pure quality of an art piece, that's what I'm referring to. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to this lady using AI to create music and getting a record deal from it, it's no surprise to me. She's just able to put out the same type of generic music that we have all been listening to for the past like 10 plus years. And she's able to do it at scale, which is highly valuable, which is easy to monetize, and leads to a high probability of banger songs, pop songs, high performing songs based on whatever metric these production companies use, which will make them more money, which is why they hired her. Make sense? Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. Hopefully this wasn't super long of a video. I know it's kind of all over the place, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button, leave a comment if you agree or disagree. I'm always looking forward to seeing what people think about my topics. And by the way, YouTube just launched this new feature where you can like talk to people in the comments. Like, you can, I guess, do a voice recording. I haven't tried it yet, but I guess you can do a voice recording to react to people. I might start doing that. So if you leave a comment, you might hear my soothing voice respond to you. Maybe I'll debate you, maybe I'll agree with you, but either way, you'll hear from me. And if you know someone who might like this content, share it. You know, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to get my channel to more people. So that would be a massive help. But yeah, hope to see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.